at the date was not too happy with Martin granting an interview outside the premise of the office of the special prosecutor. Martin actually challenged him that no, there was nothing wrong with him granting an interview and subsequently attending to the inquiry. And so there was some amount of altercation verbal exchange between him and then the officer. Thereafter, Martin proceeded to attend to the inquiry committee. So while we were having discussions with the inquiry committee, in the course of that, they told Martin that he had actually obstructed an officer of the special prosecutor, and for that matter, he was going to be charged. Meanwhile, let me be quick to add that when the altercation took place, Martin was first to even request to make a complaint against the third officer. But we were told that the complaint center was not available to take our complaint. So Martin proceeded to the inquiry board or committee and presented a complaint before them. He also insisted that that matter should be dealt with even before we could attend to the substantive matter. So we were quite surprised that in the course of the proceedings, the officers went down, up and down, came back and told us that Martin was under arrest because they had gone to investigate the matter. It appears that Martin was rather the one at fault. And for that matter, they were charging him with the offense of obstructing an officer of the special prosecutor.
Right.
That's the charge. Yes.
Okay.
So eventually they said he was going to be admitted to bail in the tune of a landed property in his personal name. Can you imagine? Obstruction an officer is obstructing a bail condition of landed property in the person's own name. In addition to that, he was to present one surety. So I quickly ride back to the office, which is just about 10 minutes drive, to pick a landed property, the documents to his landed property, return with one surety, only to be told that Martin has been whisked away to an unspecified location. All attempts to know where Martin is as of now is not being fruitful.
Well, if you're just joining us here on Ghana Tonight, it's a continuous coverage of the arrest of Martin Kpebu by the special prosecutor and earlier, and also is being sent to, or is actually being held at a National Intelligence Bureau facility here in Accra. This was confirmed by our sources close to Martin Kpebu, and we got some updates some few minutes ago, which we're focusing on, staying the steam on to ensure that it's indeed what comes to pass eventually, beyond the assurances that we've gotten from our sources that there has been some sort of an intervention. But stay with us. This is one that we're keeping a close eye on. A number of you have been sending us messages on this, and this already there's a hashtag that we understand has gone out, Free Martin Kpebu now. I don't know if we've seen that, and quite a number of you also sending us messages. We're going to run through just a bit of the messages because we have a number of people who are also reaching us, getting in touch with us, phoning in to even contribute by themselves. And let's get a bit more detail, some of the comments that we're receiving right now. Joseph, what are the people saying?
Lots of engagement on the various social media platform. This comment here is from Jay Lams. He says, attention has been shifted from Ken Oforiatta to Martin Kpebu.
Well,
Alfred, you have an important interview to
let's get
us
on to the telephone right now. Professor Aaron Mike Oquaye is a former Speaker of Parliament of the Republic of Ghana. He's joining us right now, and also himself a renowned private legal practitioner for that matter. Professor Aaron Mike Oquaye, thank you so much for joining us. Good evening to you, sir.
Good evening, my brother. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. It's good to hear from you. It's been a while. Thank you so much for talking to us. Now,
yes, thank you.
Great. You've been following the sequence of events now with Martin Kpebu, who now we've confirmed he is being held at a National Intelligence Bureau facility because earlier he attended to the invitation of the special prosecutor to assist in investigations about the matter that the special prosecutor is investigating. He came out to grant an interview, and when he was going in, there appears to have been some altercation between him and the special prosecutor, an officer of the special prosecutor. And when he went in, he was then told that he has been arrested or is under arrest because of that particular incident. This has been roundly condemned, but for you, from where you sit, is there any legitimate reason whatsoever for Martin Kpebu to have been subjected to this?
It is most unfortunate. Most unfortunate, and even more so, because we need a certain amount of stability, peace, decorum in this republic to go about our developmental matters. Very, very, very important. In the first place, the special prosecutor did not even have any business involving inviting Mr. Kpebu there. If Mr. Kpebu says you are corrupt, you can sue him, or can you refer him to another agency if you think there's a crime to look into that, because your business is to investigate corruption. Is Mr. Kpebu being charged with corruption? He's definitely not being charged with corruption. Therefore, we mustn't just mix things up. Because I want peace in this country. One professor of political science, Huntington, wrote something very typical of the whole of Africa. He says, we are a Praetorian society, confusing everywhere. People are abusing power everywhere. We don't strengthen our institutions, we just proliferate institutions. Instead of making the Attorney General's Department very strong to prosecute, we create something else. Those who lived at the time of this well-known DPP, J.K. Dako, will know how strong the Attorney General's Department has been before. And I believe that this is because we are not creating strong institutions. We keep on just proliferating and adding upon. Then we get confused in the process. I think what is happening now is very unfortunate. And all well-meaning Ghanaians must really condemn it. You know, bail being used to show people where power lies is not a yesterday matter. We have known it since legal practice decades ago. Bail being manipulated in this regard. There is no principle of law anywhere in any civilized country whereby the bail that must be justified must have a landed property in the name of the person who is a suspect. Because does that mean that people who don't have landed property therefore can never get bail? What is this? Because these are matters of principle, issues of law, issues of human rights. Now, because they can't really get the man on what he wanted, they say that, oh, why did you give an interview? You want to suppress his freedom of speech? You cannot question his granting an interview. Let us know this in this republic. You cannot question any Ghanaians giving an interview with regard to any matter. For that matter, how do you now, a policeman, whoever that person may have been, now accost Mr. Kpebu and start having an altercation with him? I believe that this matter is most unfortunate. I have been watching this program, 10 p.m. We don't really know whether the man has been released. If this arbitrariness is allowed to continue, it will be a fundamental violation of the rule of law in this country. I am very, very much in these processes. I watched things from the pre-independence days to today. And some of us just can't stand the disrespect for people's rights. It has been going on anyway for some time in this country since 7th of January. I think this should make us all realize that it's time it stopped. And in fact, I would advocate that we should stop this proliferation of institutions of investigation and strengthen the institutions that are already there. If that should happen, it will help our country.
There's no basis, you say, for Martin Kpebu to be detained as we speak.
I don't know what you said.
There's no basis for Martin Kpebu's detention whatsoever.
There's no basis, actually. Because if you say you are investigating him for accusing you, is that part of corruption? But that is your mandate. And you must operate strictly within the parameters of your mandate. And if, therefore, you think he has maligned you, you have to sue him in the civil court or refer him to the NIB or some other investigation body, because you cannot be a judge in your own cause. That is also an affront to the rule of law and a fundamental principle of justice. You see, we should not confuse issues, because Ghana, we should be high up there. And I am particularly unhappy about some of these things which create what I've just described earlier, a Praetorian society. A Praetorian society collapses, and we don't want this country to collapse. It will not.
Now, there already, even prior to today, questions were asked as to whether the special prosecutor should be the office investigating this said allegation made by Martin Kpebu against the same office, to the extent that this reason why Martin Kpebu is being investigated was an allegation of corruption against the office, and it's the same office that is investigating him. Is that consistent with practice?
No, and that's why I say the special prosecutor cannot be the judge in his own cause. The rule of law abhors that ab initio. And for that matter, I say he may either refer him to the NIB or he may sue him in the civil court if he feels he has been detained. Because the freedom of speech issue is very, very important. The man is well known as a man you can give bail to, and tomorrow morning he will come. What is this kind of onerous bail term that he should bring a landed property and it must be in his own name? A Ghanaian doesn't have to have a landed property in order to defend or pursue his human rights, the right to bail. And that is very, very important. And it pains me because does the special prosecutor's office know, they want to tell us that they don't know this fundamental issue of law? And if so, then what is Ghana? Where are we going to? Ghana is too good a country to suffer such things. In fact, the parliament can bring a private member's bill now to have this office dissolved, if that's the kind of situation we are going to have in this country, and then strengthen the Attorney General's office.
We've seen this modus where the investigative bodies, when they're investigating someone, will take this said suspect or anybody they're investigating to an unknown location. Even his lawyers cannot even locate the said client or not even know where they are. And it has sadly become part of the modus that is employed by these investigative bodies. Is it one that you're concerned about?
Yes. You see, it is Rambo style. It is Gestapo kind of doing justice. And Ghana should not accept that. A man's wife, it's 10 p.m. Ghana is going to sleep soon. And the man's wife doesn't know where the husband is, so that she can also take whatever appropriate steps by lawyers. The man has brought lawyers into the case. His lawyers don't know where he is. That itself is a serious abuse, and it's an abuse of office. And some people must be sanctioned for that. It's an abuse of the legal process, and for that matter, the powers of that particular office. Our Constitution states in very clear terms that every discretionary power must be used to satisfy the basic principles of law.
Now, you talk about the office of the special prosecutor, and you say that you expect that Parliament would have a private member's motion to have the office of the special prosecutor dissolved. Now, and I believe that when this office, the bill establishing this office was passed, you were Speaker of Parliament, is it not? Respectfully.
Yes, what?
You were Speaker of Parliament, but you think that
Yes,
the OSP, I mean the Office of Special Prosecutor, has outlived its usefulness, or at the time you had reason to preside over the business of having this bill passed into law?
looking at what is happening and the flagrant abuse of human rights, and also the fact that I would prefer that existing institutions are strengthened rather than having multiplicity of them with all manner of problems for us. Go and look for the man in this particular office. No, he's not with us now. He's with another organization, and so forth. What is this? And I'm saying that we have had strong prosecutors before. If you ask lawyers who are old enough, they will tell you about men like Jeki Dako. Therefore, if you look at the benefit of hindsight, we better go and do Sankofa and strengthen the office of the DPP, Director of Public Prosecutions, and then do things straight and right and according to the true tenets of the law.
I see. Now, the Director of Public Prosecutions should rather be strengthened and do away with the OSP's office.
That will benefit us, I believe, because they have got pride of ancestry. They have got a tradition. They have got the best practices. And the best practices must be maintained. They must be retooled. They must be strengthened as an office to help do justice in this country. Rather than we put an office up today, tomorrow we change the name, another time we set up another one, and sometimes we don't even know which organization should investigate that. And sometimes there's a clash with regard to jurisdiction and powers. It appears everyone now wants to show how far it can also stretch its powers. We have to rationalize things and strengthen our institutions.
But I recall, I followed the debate on the floor of Parliament prior to this OSP bill, or the bill being passed into an act, and which you presided over as Speaker. All these proposals and recommendations came up, strengthening the AG's office to do what the OSP was being set up to do, strengthening the Director of Public Prosecution to do what the OSP's office is being set up to do. All of those fell on deaf ears at the time. Would you say that, with the benefit of hindsight, maybe you were wrong in that instance?
In saying that, with the benefit of hindsight, with the problems that are happening, with this abuse of jurisdiction and so forth, and people don't even want to go by their limits to investigate matters of corruption. Then it's Martin Kpebu to be investigated for matters of corruption. Is he a public officer? When was he in an action that was a matter of corruption? These are very, very important things. And what pains me, not because it is Martin Kpebu, but because it is a Ghanaian, is that some people want to show power. Some people want to let somebody taste something small, to show somebody where some power lies. These draconian tactics, we don't deserve it. Not in a country that seeks excellence like Ghana.
Is the issue with the office of the or the person occupying the office as special prosecutor?
I don't want to talk about individuals. I like systemic arguments about system. Whether it's the occupant or the office per se, I think this matter requires very serious examination. I say it is past 10. I've been sitting also watching a Ghanaian who is well known for his public critique activities, which of course we also need in this country, whether you agree with his views or not. It's now in custody. They say they are now going to give him bail and so forth. His wife should be He should be at home with his wife by this time. And it is a matter of principle.
Professor Aaron Michael Quaye, and I thank you for your thoughts. But the most important call you leave with us is that Martin Kpebu should be released wherever he is right now.
He must sleep on his bed. The special prosecutor is going to sleep in his bed. Kpebu too must sleep in his bed. The Ghanaian's liberty, because he went and spoke to some reporter, so what? Otherwise, the 1992 Constitution is of no essence. Let him talk to media men. Nobody must be worried about that. Nobody must be detained for that. It is a fundamental issue for a Ghanaian. Look, some of us, in those days, around 1992, when we were seriously speaking against the PNDC for certain military tactics, when we went to broadcasting house, the place was dark with MOAs. People will tell you. They could have shot some of us, and we have been even vanished we have vanished into oblivion. So I'm very sensitive about draconian tactics. So we must make sure that anyone under suspicion can also sleep in his bed as a Ghanaian. At the appropriate time, bring appropriate evidence. If you are not a libertarian, you cannot hold the office of a special prosecutor. You must be a libertarian. You must champion the essence of liberty. This is my view.
Right, and the special prosecutor would always reference some achievements that it has chalked over the period. Some $2 million deal in the Minerals Income and Investment Fund and others that he references as achievements of the Office of the Special Prosecutor under Kissi Agyabeng as Special Prosecutor. That's not enough justification for the office to be maintained and strengthened?
That cannot be a justification vis-a-vis the liberty of a Ghanaian.
So Martin Kpebu deserves to sleep on his bed.
He deserves to sleep on his bed with his wife, like the special prosecutor is meant to deserve. We are all Ghanaians.
Professor Aaron Michael Quaye, I thank you very much for joining us.
And I'm watching.
Yes, I know you do watch all the time.
Also in the bedroom.
Absolutely.
Ready to sleep.
I know.
Somebody must sleep in his bed.
True. I know you watch Ghana Tonight all the time, and I thank you. Thank you for the input, and thank you for the feedback that you give as always. I do appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Thank you. Professor Aaron Michael Quaye is former Speaker of Parliament of the Republic of Ghana. He's a former Member of Parliament himself, a private legal practitioner, has contributed to shaping our legal framework, our jurisprudence as well in many ways. And he's been credited for a number of things that we have seen as well in time. But the question that I ask about the Special Prosecutor's Office, that act that establishes the office, he was Speaker of Parliament when this Special Prosecutor's Office was established with that act. And he says, this was as far back as 2017, he says that from benefit of hindsight, he thinks that, look, maybe we should just do away with it, strengthen the Director of Public Prosecutor's Office and then the Attorney General's Office to do the work that the OSP has been set up to do. Over the last few days, we've seen the OSP put out its own achievement of what they've been able to achieve over the period. And he's calling on even the members of Parliament to push a private member's motion to have this particular issue being brought to the front burner in Parliament for consideration. It's a very interesting proposal coming from the man who presided over the entire process in Parliament, the establishment of the OSP's office. He is an ardent viewer of Ghana Tonight, by the way, that we appreciate him for, and I do thank you for it. But listening to Professor Aaron Michael Quaye sends a certain signal.
Very interesting there. Very interesting interview you had with him, and I think you hit the nail right on the head when you put it within the context of his role in the law being passed And so it's very important to hear his perspective there. The law was passed in 2017. We are just in 2025. We've had 2 special prosecutors so far. The first being Martin Amidu. We know how that ended. And now Kissie Jabin being in office about 3 to 4 years now. And we've seen how that is playing out in terms of the concerns that have come up so far. Alfred, there's an update that we can bring to our viewers. We've been walking you through the very latest on this matter. We have another very interesting development for you. And so first, the story started off that he had been whisked away from the OSP. He was taken over to NIB. We are now having an update. The update is that he's being moved from the National Intelligence Bureau installation to the Office of the Special Prosecutor as we speak. So Martin Kpebu currently is being moved from the National Intelligence Bureau installation here in Accra to the Office of Special Prosecutor here in Accra. And that, we understand, may be pointing towards the information that we had picked up, we had put out, that there has been some form of intervention that may result in his release this evening. You recall, Alfred, I had raised the question about the procedural difficulties and the non-likelihood of he being released if he were to remain at the NIB office, because that is just a holding facility that a state agency would have tasked the officers there to keep an individual, and that would be a limited mandate, and they can't deal with the issues surrounding the release of the person at that particular level. But there is a very disturbing part of the story that we are learning from lawyers of Mr. Kpebu, is the fact that they have still not cited Martin Kpebu for more than 2 hours. I mean, right from when they got the information, just like we confirmed from our sources, that he was being kept at the National Intelligence Bureau security installation. They moved over there. They got there. Their details were taken. They have not had the opportunity to see Martin Kpebu with their own eye, except to also pick the information that we have also picked from our sources, that he's been moved to the Office of the Special Prosecutor. And so they are following through over there to get a sense of whether they will have the opportunity to complete the process to have him go home now. But that is what we are learning so far by way of an update, Alfred. Interesting development here. 2+ hours. The lawyers have still not cited Martin Kpebu.
And that's why I kept asking that question consistently. It's his fundamental, right of any suspect. We're not even talking about an accused person. And this you would learn at Law 101 in law school. You know, that no matter how much of an accused person you are, you still deserve some conference with your lawyers, you know. So unless there's any good reason, and that's why you asked, Thaddeus, kept asking questions, and we need to hear from the special prosecutor.
Absolutely.
Tomorrow or whichever time that, you know, the office decides to explain to us.
Yeah, I don't think it's a matter that they can just wake up and sweep under the carpet.
Not at all.
He's been left to go there. There has to be some explanation. But Alfred, there's an interesting trend that we are seeing in terms of some of the key actors we've engaged this evening. Some of the key actors that we have been speaking to, very important contributors in and out of Parliament, within the legal fraternity. We hear from a speaker shortly, and we see a certain trend emerging. And I'm just going to walk you through some of the comments that we've put out and published on our various portals. And this one here, you have Abraham Amaleba. Abraham Amaleba is a member of the National Democratic Congress. He's currently the acting Director General of the National Road Safety Authority, and he says the Attorney General must intervene and order for Martin Kpebu's release. He goes on to make the point that what the OSP has done is a very irrational act. The Attorney General must immediately intervene and get Martin Kpebu released. And so that is what he told us earlier on today. We also heard from the camp of the United Party, Solomon Owusu, a regular contributor here on Key Point and on our various platforms, including New Day as well. He says the OSP must tender in his resignation tomorrow morning. We will send him there for a specific purpose. That's what Solomon Owusu had to say. Professor Enoch Opoku-Entry, a governance analyst, told us that Martin Kpebu is not a public servant, neither has he engaged in a corrupt act. So why do you arrest him in such a manner? The OSP must free him now. We also heard from Thaddeus Sori, a renowned legal practitioner here in the country, senior lawyer, many years of practice at the bar. He said that there was no basis for the detention of Martin Kpebu. I think the OSP is clearly abusing his powers. He goes on to say that the OSP must explain why he's detaining Martin Kpebu this very evening. Otherwise, there will be a problem. And that is one thing that we've heard a lot of people also make a similar call, that the circumstances surrounding the invitation, his arrest, the allegations of obstruction, all of those matters ought to be clarified by the special prosecutor. Then we brought you this news about the fact that he was being held in an NIB facility, which we have subsequently updated that he has been moved to the office of the special prosecutor now. Victor Adawudu, also a member of the National Democratic Congress, he told us that Kissie Jabin is misusing the office he is occupying. Martin Kpebu must sue him for unlawful detention after he is released. And so that is Victor Adawudu, a legal practitioner. He went on to also tell us that this is the beginning of the end of the special prosecutor. The allegations against him are now beginning to magnify. A very interesting point there, because we also did remind ourselves that there are multiple petitions that have been filed against Kissie Jabin, special prosecutor, seeking his removal from office. We know that this is not the first attempt. We remember under the former Chief Justice, similar petition was also filed. Different matters were raised, but that petition did not cross the threshold there. And so he's making a point that the allegations against him are now beginning to magnify. We'll see how all of that plays out there. This is a member of parliament here, Francis Xavier Susui, says, I am very disappointed in the OSP. What has Martin Kpebu done? This action is completely lawless. The OSP must be hauled to parliament, he adds, to explain why he detained Martin Kpebu. This act should not be condoned. Then, Democracy Hub convener, a private legal practitioner as well, Oliver Baka Vomawo, he says, Kissie is tired. I think it's only fair he steps aside. This is a new law. Oliver Baka Vomawo, a private legal practitioner. Then, just a short while ago, Alfred brought us that very crucial interview, hearing from the Speaker of Parliament, the former Speaker of Parliament, who was in the chair when Parliament of the Republic of Ghana decided that Ghana should have for itself an office of special prosecutor. They passed the law, the office was set up. We had Martin Amido as the first special prosecutor. We also subsequently also have this individual, very senior lawyer as well, Kissie Jabin, taking it. But this is what he has to say. He says it is most unfortunate the special prosecutor didn't even have any business inviting Martin Kpebu. All well-meaning Ghanaians must condemn what has happened to Martin Kpebu. No principle of law supports the bail conditions set for Martin Kpebu. The OSP cannot be a judge in his own cause. Why didn't he sue Martin Kpebu instead? Right. And so that is a summary of what is transpiring. And the trend we are seeing increasingly is that we are seeing individuals who align basically with the government of the day, not holding their hands, speaking publicly and saying that what the OSP has done is completely wrong. They've condemned it and they've actually urged their own Attorney General to intervene in this particular matter. One
such person is Abraham Maliba, is private legal practitioner, is CEO of National Road Safety Authority. Maliba, good evening once again.
Good evening, Alfred. I have information.
What information is it?
That Martin Kpebu will be released this evening, this night. The special prosecutor, my information is that the special prosecutor is working towards that. His position is that it wasn't under his instructions that Martin Kpebu was arrested, and that Martin Kpebu had altercation with the police in the compound of the special prosecutor, and the police picked him up. He goes further to say that the police is under the IGP. He doesn't control them. But he's working to ensure that Martin is released this evening. I just want to put that out.
Right. Lawyer Abraham Maliba, hold on a bit for me. There's some breaking news coming through right now. some breaking news coming in as this story unfolds quick and fast. The very fluid situation we've had over the last few hours. The information that we have is that Martin Kpebu, private legal practitioner, has been released. That is the information we have right now. This is some breaking news coming through right now from our sources close to the Special Prosecutor's Office. We did indicate to you that he had been moved from the National Intelligence Bureau facility to the Special Prosecutor's Office. This is it. Let's go to the Special Prosecutor's Office right now. This is it. This is Martin Kpebu. This is live. It's live right now. We're live from this location. Martin Kpebu has been released right now. This is live. We're crossing over right now and to speak to Martin Kpebu. Martin, take it over right now. Let's hear from the man, Martin Kpebu. And this is it. What you're seeing, live videos right now. Martin Kpebu, private legal practitioner, has been released. This is breaking news coming through right now. Martin Kpebu, in the company of some lawyers and relatives, loved ones, he has been released right now. And we'll rectify the audio connection.
I didn't do anything that deserves an arrest. So somehow it was like dream, like a fairy tale. So my spirits were still up. I mean, when I was taken into custody, I was yet to, be undressed, and then you do the custody gowns and those. So my spirits were still very high because I knew that I hadn't done anything wrong. Look, what they've actually done is that this is a suicide mission that Kissi Ejiabin's OSP has embarked on. Yeah, he can pretend he has nothing to do with it, but he's the head, okay? The one who called the policeman to arrest me, he's called Seth Ablomensa. He's the chief of staff at the OSP. He's the one who directed Mr. Opoku, the policeman, to arrest me, right? And what was it? You see, earlier on in the day when I went in there, I came out to grant an interview. So when I returned, then there was a soldier. Can you imagine? We'll come to what a soldier is doing at the OSP, performing police duties. We'll leave that aside. But when I got back into the OSP, then one of the soldiers told me, and by the way, they weren't wearing name tags. They didn't have name tags, and yet they were performing police duties. And there were two policemen too. So one of the soldiers told me that, but we allowed you to park. You see, the tone we allowed you to park was like, even parking was a favor. So I didn't understand. Next time when you come in here, we will not allow you to go out. So I retorted that no, he has no right to curtail my rights. In any event, I'm just there to help. Right? They said, come and give further information. I'm not under any investigation. I'm not a suspect. I'm not an accused person. So then I continued going. Then a colleague of his, another soldier, then shouted to me that next time I do that, I will see. That's what I said, next time. So that kind of threat, the Ghanaian English, next time you do that, you will see. In Ghanaian English, that means he will cause me some harm. You will see. There will be consequences, even if it's not physical harm, but there will be consequences. So I turned and gave him the same answer that no, he has no right. I'm not a suspect. Even a suspect, can you do that? So I said he had no right. Then next thing I knew, he said, I'm stupid. That's what the soldier said. The soldier said, I am stupid. Oh, of course. So I turned back and told him that he's also stupid. So we exchanged a few words. And then one of my lawyers pulled me for us to go in. We went, and then, as usual, the OSP chose to present employees. When we had made it clear at the second meeting that, look, considering that almost all of my allegations are against Kissi Ejiabin, who is the special prosecutor, and these are his subordinates, the subordinates can't do much about their bosses. Martin, they say do that. Can you investigate if, let's say, Mr. Nyama, your this COO? You can't investigate Mr. Nyama, much less the MD. So that's the same thing. And even before I was invited, Ghanaians had said it on various social media and private messages to me that how can OSP investigate itself? But you know me, I'm a law-abiding citizen. I thought that as long as they can do something to accommodate that to show independence, I'm willing to give the information. In any event, I'm almost done. I'm presenting the petition to the president for onward submission to the CJ. I have a lot of charges. As I'm talking to now, I have over 15 charges against Kisi Ejabin. I'm not running away from this fight. So the least they shouldn't have even tried it. You don't try such a thing. You see, you don't try such a thing. It just tells you the very incompetency. My arrest and detention underscores the incompetence with which Kisi Ejabin sat down and allowed Ofori-Atta to run. Kisi is not up to scratch. Kisi has never been up to scratch. Because you see, how would you arrest people? When I already said it, today is 3rd December. I mentioned on 2nd of November, you can check on the key points that I'll be presenting a petition for its removal. So such a person like me, and you know me, once I say I'm going to do this, I'll do it. So just stay clear of. Look, I don't mind the arrest, even assuming the exchanges with the soldier were illegal and so amount to something that they want to arrest. Remember in law, there's a difference between arrest and detention. The arrest is you touch the person, you are under arrest, I'm investigating you for so and so offense. So when you are done, admit the person to bail, right? Then let the investigations continue. Can you imagine Ablom Mensah said, yes, they were admitting me to bail, but I should bring a property in my name. For what? So a soldier insults me, Martin, you are stupid. And I also tell him you are stupid. That's the effect of the words.
So that's
and
the reason why you were detained?
Yes, that I should bring property in my name. And where's the indenture? Fortunately for me, my office is just about 10 minutes from the OS. I have indenture in the office. So when we argued, my lawyers argued for about 15, not that continuously 15. My lawyers made a plea that, look, I should be given self-recognizance bail, right? And then said, Ablom Mensah said, okay, he would go consult. So he stepped out. So we thought it was going to be a favorable response. So when then subsequently he came in about 15 minutes and said, no, they would not do so. They will not vary the conditions to give self-recognizance. So then I told Mr. Marcelinus Bia, one of my lawyers who accompanied me, okay, Marcel, go to the office. I have indenture in my name. Just bring it. And my office is just, you can see, you can attest. There's less than 10 meters drive to the OSP. So Marcel came, long story short. So Mr. Ablom Mensah asked that I be handcuffed and taken into custody. That it was too late. And that even when we brought the indenture, they would have to do verification. So practically talking about justification, for exchanging words with a soldier who didn't know the right thing. He's not supposed to be performing police duties. A soldier performing police duties in the OSP. You see the very thing we've been talking about. Article 210 of our constitution is clear that, look, you soldiers for war and then maybe some development activities. But here you had the police, two policemen in there. And so if anything, if you think the building is under threat, anything, you use the soldiers as backup. But if you go to the OSP, the soldiers are performing frontline duties. You see, this thing I've been mentioned that soldiers are taking away the work of the police. You see it has manifested. It's not only in the Galamsey fight. Now, ordinary OSP, soldiers have taken away the work of the police, performing frontline duties. If you think the building is under threat, let the soldiers be at the back. Let the soldiers be at the back. What are they doing front line? And there was a policeman. Now, let me repeat with all the emphasis. Look, get it. You see, as I mentioned, the policeman who initially came and told us to move, we shouldn't do the interview where we were. You know, when I came in, he said nothing to me. He's Mr. J. I don't see his first name. Usually, they'll just put the surname. J. He stood there. He was quiet. Then I went past him. But these soldiers who couldn't contain it. So you see that there's a difference in the training. Police are trained differently from soldiers. Soldiers is war, high aggression. So for them, they couldn't contain it. So the policeman who came and, just like we're doing this interview, told us to move from there. We're not on the direct frontage of the OSP. The interview was being done on an ECG facility, which is near the entrance. So perhaps ECG to provide backup electricity for OSP and the other buildings in the area. But when you go there, you see that this is an ECG facility. So that's where the interviews were being granted. But even then, when Mr. J, the policeman, came and said we should move, the Joy News cameraman and Fatal, the journalists who were interviewing me, they were questioning his authority because for them, they were clear that this an ECG facility is not OSP. Look, their camera, I'm sure, were live. It will bear me. I had to intervene that, look, I don't want to argue. You see, like we say, to paraphrase, when you go hunting for an elephant, don't concern yourself with rabbits, snails, and those things. No, we knew that Kissi Ejambe must leave because he's incompetent, he's corrupt, etc. That's the thing. So I didn't want the story to expand. So the moment the policeman, Mr. J, said we should move, you will even see, I'm sure their camera, the Joy News camera will capture. You see me pushing them that, no, let's go. I don't want an argument. So I pushed them. So we went off the ECG facility and did the interview further off. Then I walked in. When I walked in, so the policeman who came and asked us to move, so I met him. He didn't say anything. I bypassed him, still going to the OSP yard. Then these soldiers who have bad temperament, you see, like I said, very bad temperament, their work is not police duties. I don't know what is so, dangerous about Kpebu that you have soldiers supplanting police, soldiers taking over police duties.
But what happened when you went in after the conversation with the OSP officials there? Was it after that you came out and was arrested? At what point did they say that you were under arrest?
Right in there. I didn't come out. So you see, these soldiers, this exchanges with one of the soldiers. Remember, the first one asked me when I replied, he stepped out. Then the shorter one, he couldn't contain his anger. I think he has anger issues, right? So he's the one I had the exchanges with. That was it. When I went upstairs there was nothing. Ablo Mensah had no, they sought to ask us the questions. And you know, this is the third time. We had told them that, like I said, Martin Sedu Date, you cannot investigate Mr. Nuyama, your chief executive operations officer. You can't, much less your MD. So from day one, we've been telling them that no, listen, most of my allegations are against Kissi Ejambe and then Albert Akrugu. Albert Akrugu is the director of asset recovery and management. So the first day, can you imagine, Albert, who is one of the persons had accused, sat down and sought to receive information from me. So my lawyers raised and said, but Albert, Martin Kpebu has named you as one of the persons who should be leaving. I mean, you are part of the problem because there is a petition against Albert Akrugu and Kissi Ejambe Ashraj, right? So when we did that, then, and also raised that generally, even when you took out Albert, the other two are not senior to Kissi Ejambe, so it will not work. That was the first meeting, so then we had to go. Then they said they will reconstitute and call us. They reconstituted and made us appear before Albert Paddington and then said Ablo Mensah. That was the second meeting. So then my lawyers raised it once again that no, this can't happen. That day I was in the company of lawyer Marcelinus Bia and my other colleague, right? And then lawyer Jakwasu also is our lead counsel, Agbeshi Jakwasu, right? So we raised it, but Agbeshi Jakwasu was not in the meeting room. He was somewhere in the building. Now, so we said no, listen, find people senior to Kissi Ejambe in the OSP in order for us to give that. Yes, because if you bring Kissi's subordinates, no, they want promotion. You know, even in the military, there is a lot of politics. You hear the word eye service or face fine. You ask soldiers, up to a certain level, you will no longer get promotion unless you are politically aligned. So eye service, face fine, and those things. So I knew that no, if you give this to subordinates, they may sell the information for promotion. Even if they don't, okay? Even if they don't, a bystander, okay, will think that there will never be justice because you are going to investigate your boss. Who born dog? It won't happen. Neither Ghana nor elsewhere. No matter how courageous even the subordinates are, I'm saying that a bystander seeing that a subordinate is about to go and investigate his boss, it won't. No, that's not justice.
Did they tell you? I mean, so at what point did they tell you that they were moving you from the OSP's office to the NIB?
Oh. When what do you call? They didn't even tell me that is NIB. So all Seth Ablo Mensah did was that he told AJ, the policeman, to handcuff me. So he did, and then so you see how it is. You see why we need law reforms. I had no opportunity to call my wife and kids and family. No, I had no opportunity at all. So they just bundled me. You see, to add insult to injury, do you know who came to escort me? The first soldier who questioned me and I replied, but who kept quiet. Yeah, he came to escort me. So you see that it's victory for them. That you dare to stand up to us. So I complained. I said, how can the man who even started this whole exchange is be the one to escort me? So a soldier came to escort me when there are police. So based on my complaint, when we got to the entrance, then Mr. J, who now had to drive the vehicle, asked the soldier to get down so that a policeman will come and say, meanwhile, what are we looking for? This particular case, it brings up a lot about the way the Ghanaian has lost faith in the police service, so much so that everything you want soldier. Look, the policeman who came, he was far taller and muscular than the soldier. So what is it? Why is it that we like too much of just is it the uniform? Because in terms of physique, if you saw the policeman, the police also have the well-built, and he's far more well-built, taller, physically imposing than the soldier who got down. And the other soldier is very diminutive, very diminutive. So I don't even know why you be placing so much on the, you want soldiers.
Were you told what charges would be preferred against you, or you didn't get to that level? And if that, whilst you were in their premises, what happened? What was the conversation like?
No, so I was told that for obstruction of a public office or something like that. Yes, obstruction. So it only meant the soldier. Now soldier is performing police duties. I don't even know what. Yes. Meanwhile, if they have this, and I have witnesses. My 2 lawyers were present. They saw it was the soldier who first insulted me. I can't insult a soldier when he has not done anything. But the moment he insulted me, then that meant that he's not respecting his uniform. So how would a civilian? So you see the very reason we even say, look, don't bring them into the this to mix with civilians. Keep them. There's a reason why there's a barracks. They say, look, let them do war. Maybe if there are bridges, some developmental activities, let them go and do. No, don't bring soldiers to perform police duties. That's just because the guy clearly had no temperament for this. We don't.
Are you expected to go back to the OSP? How did you conclude before we were told that they brought you back to your office? What was the final conversations like?
I should come back tomorrow at 11 a.m. Yeah, I have my indenture. Well, ready, Marcel was ready to take it. 10 minutes. Ablomens, I said no.
So you are still expected to come and justify
ridiculous. They just said I should report as well. I hope it won't be. Because, Martin, they serious. So, a few exchanges with a soldier who had no business performing police duties. You say I should bring indenture. That's title deed. You need a full house as bail conditions. We are dead. But this is an opportunity for law reforms. It tells you how some public officers can abuse their office. You see, the whole office set up governments, yes, they can see their boss is about to leave. They are not happy. I think he can foresee that he also loses his office. So because of that, he's trying to do something to protect Kissie Ejabin. Because I understand Kissie Ejabin saying he had no knowledge. What kind of training did he give the staff? If he didn't give them high-handed training, why would Seth Ablomensa be asking me for an indenture over a matter of a few words with a soldier who started the whole thing?
Counsel, we are grateful that you made time to speak to us. Maybe last one before I go. Whilst the NIB premises, what exactly happened? What exchanges or conversations went on?
Oh, NIB, so I was taken in, and then there was some paperwork, so you have to fill in. And then, yeah, you fill it. You know, the one that struck me was that even I had this complimentary card. Even that one was recorded. If you have this, yeah, they said, do I have anything? I checked all my packets and said no, because my phones and everything I had left in the car, right? So, but when I dipped in my packet, I saw the complimentary card and then this nose mask. So the nose mask they didn't mention, but the complimentary card, I heard one of the officers telling another one to write in terms of property that I have. So they'll count everything. So they said 1 jacket, 1 black trousers, 1 belt, 1 white shirt. Then they asked, are you wearing a singlet? I said, yes. What color is it? White. White singlet. 1 shoe. The hat. Everything. And the complimentary card. So they had to document everything I'd come into that place with. And then I was asked to sit so that the other processes would be gone into. And then fortunately they didn't finish, and then I got bail.
All right. Thank you so much, and we hopefully will see how this will finally eventually play out.
The petition will go. The petition against Kissie Ejabin will go. Look, I can say, it depends. Now that they see they've disrupted me, if tomorrow I'm able to get enough, it's possible it can go tomorrow. If not Monday, but we are at charge number 15. A lot of things are wrong. Look, do you know, even this arrest, I can bet you that it's going to annoy more Ghanaians who know more bad things, like you said. They will flood me. You will see the charges will double. That's how the charges have been increasing. I'm getting information left, right, center. So this arrest is even going to annoy those who have been cautious, because now they see that, oh, the guy is emboldened to now abuse his office to attack innocent citizens. You will see how I'll get more evidence. He will go. Kise Jabin has to go. There's nothing that will save him.
Thank you so much. So we've been coming to you live from the private office of Martin Kpebu, who a few hours ago was detained by the special prosecutor and coincidentally was sent to the offices of the NIB. And just a few minutes after, about 10, getting to 11, he is now a free man and says that a luta continua. So here at TV3, we'll definitely keep very close tabs on this and update you subsequently. Back to you in the studios.
You do, I know the like commission. So that's the development right now, and Martin Kpebu has been released. Just as we did give you that indication earlier, that breaking news on the update earlier, that we had gotten strong indication from our sources at the National Intelligence Bureau that he was going to be released. That earlier in information on the occasion we got is what has materialized and confirmed right now. Martin Kpebu has been released by the Office of Special Prosecutor. And as Professor Aaron Michael Quay did say to us earlier, he's going to sleep on his bed, just like anybody else. And he says, just like the Special Prosecutor. And so Martin Kpebu is going home. And we keep tabs on how this matter is going to play out, because he's indicated tomorrow he will be back to the Office of the Special Prosecutor. We will be there. We'll be updating you. It's been almost 3 hours, in fact, 3 hours and over, that we have stayed the steam on this breaking news that we got, giving you exclusive detail, speaking to all the people that who have the voice and the impact, the influence to speak on this matter and make those clear pronouncements about the issues that have played out, the modus operandi employed by the Special Prosecutor, and the condemnation that we've seen from all quarters and the persons that we've spoken to, and the calls for some explanation and answers to the questions that a number of our guests we've spoken to today have been asking, from Thaddeus Sori to Professor Aaron Michael Quay to Abraham Amaleba, who joined us a second time, and then also Solomon Owusu, many others, Professor Enoch Enchu, all of them who have been connecting with us, speaking about this particular development. And so we wait for the Special Prosecutor if there's going to be any answers to the questions that have been asked about what has happened tonight. And this is Ghana Tonight. I want to say thank you so much for joining us. Few words quickly before we go. Joseph?
Yeah, I mean, very, very interesting updates there, and it's very important that we've come to some form of conclusion. I mean, we started off with that disturbing news, and for me, I think the interview that we all heard Martin conduct with Martin as well, Martin conducting Martin Kpebu, he puts a lot of things within perspective. It confirms the story that we had put out in much greater detail, and it raises very serious questions about the extent to which human rights are respected in this jurisdiction, particularly by investigative bodies. And that is why I agree with a lot of our contributors today who have made it a point quite strongly that we cannot just let this go once and for all. But Alfred,
let's cross over back to the OSP let's speak now to one of the lawyers for Martin Kpebu right now.
Fighting corruption, they are still doing their competent work. Why do we then establish some people somewhere, embolden them to now be serving as chambers of horrors? It is not in. It is only a cost to the country, an unnecessary cost that the country is bearing. I think OSP must be scrapped. It must be scrapped now.
Yes. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
This is Ghana Tonight. Thank you so much for staying with us here. And the most important thing that a number of you made that call is that Martin Kpebu must be released. He has been released. He's going to sleep. So are we. And I want to say thank you, Joseph Akabale, together with Martin Esiedu Date and the rest of the team, the number of people who are at the back end you're not seeing, but there's 3 hours of continuous coverage of this breaking news that we got. In fact, it's been over 3 hours. We thank the entire team who ensured that we update you every step of the way on what we were picking about this development. On behalf of the rest of the team, we do appreciate your company. I am Alfred Okanse. Join the New Day team tomorrow morning and Sunrise on 3FM 92.7. This conversation will continue. Have a good night.
Ghana Tonight is brought to you by